guys, Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. Gonna do a quick, I wouldn't say a review, but final thoughts of Far Cry 6, which I had the luxury of being able to see its conclusion the other night. Now, unfortunately, editor's note, I spent a good amount of time taking beautiful video clips for this game as I was playing it. I was doing swooping shots, as you'd see if you're watching a video on Digital Foundry. A lot of explosions, a lot of key moments, a lot of cool set pieces. I had it all ready to go. I had over 100 video clips. And I didn't know this, unbeknownst to me, but when you take video clips, I don't know if you guys can hear the rain out there. When you take video clips with your Xbox console, if you don't view them, because if you look at your own clips, it counts as a view. So if you take video clips and you just store them and you don't look at them, after 30 days, the clips expire and poof, they're gone. So when I took my thumb drive and I plugged it into my Xbox Series X today to extract the data, all my clips were gone. Pretty much all my clips were gone. Sans for what I took the other day, unfortunately. I was going to do some post-processing after shooting today's video and go back and take more video. I'm not going to do that. The thing is because I'm done with this game. I don't want to go back into that world. I want to move on to other stuff. I don't expect there to be a lot of views on this video, and that's okay. I totally get that. I'm just putting this out there for the few people that might be interested in my opinion on Far Cry 6. So I guess, in a roundabout way, kind of is a blessing in disguise that I lost all my footage, because, what's the point of me spending 3-4 hours editing a video like this when it's old hat? And most of you who have played Far Cry 6 have probably already moved on to bigger and better things yourself. So I'll just give my quick and dirty sort of final thoughts on the game. Now, when I first booted up the game, even before I started the game, you're greeted with like this kind of like how should I say it? Instead of just being able to press start and jump into the game, there's some sort of voice enabled setting in the game where, like, when you start it, it's like press start to start game, like an actual voice talking to you. Really annoying. Trying to navigate through the menu. It's telling me to sign up for a Ubisoft account. I'm like, I don't want to do that, and kept going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. Finally, I found a way to get around that. So again, before I even started playing the game, Ubisoft trying to get me to sign up for an account. Just a pain in the ass. And anytime I would start the game up, I'd have to go through this whole song and dance. Really annoying. So I get into the game. First impressions are good. The graphics are really good. You can see the screenshot of me here by the water. The game sort of has a little bit of a Far Cry 3 vibe to it as far as aesthetics. However, that quickly wears off. After you play this game for several hours, everything kind of starts to feel the same. Starts to flesh out the characters, and I don't even remember the main character's name for that matter. But I was not. This is probably one of the biggest gripes I have with this game. I was not emotionally invested in any of the characters in this game, except for the main antagonist, who is portrayed by, what's his name? Juan Carlos Esposito. And those are the only cutscenes with him in it and his kid that I would watch all the way through. All the other cutscenes, skip. Didn't want to watch any of the cutscenes. Didn't care what these characters were talking about. Didn't give two shits about the story. So that was a big problem. And that's a shock for me, because coming from Far Cry 5, which I absolutely adore. I loved Far Cry 5. I loved the story, the Seed family, the cult, going around Montana. Never got bored of that open world. Always, to this day, I'm willing to go back to Far Cry 5 and explore that open world. I enjoyed it so much. And with this here, no. I did not enjoy this open world whatsoever. I never wanted to stop and take a look around at my surroundings. I was constantly on the move. the open world map. It's like the way they've designed it. The old Far Cry games, the overworld, the map kind of looked real. You could see the trees, you can see everything on the map. You could zoom in and out. In this game here, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a hand drawn map. Okay, you can't really see anything on the map. It just shows. It's as if you were looking at a paper map, if that makes sense. And it's kind of annoying because with the older Far Cry games, you could kind of look at the overhead map and get an idea of where you wanted to explore. But with this here, not the case. You're just looking at, again, it's like you took a map, a paper map, and you just looked at it. Well, you're not really going to get an idea of the landscape, right? You got to get on the ground level and see with your own eyes. Whereas, like I said, the old Far Cry games, you could kind of get away with looking at the map and get an idea of where you wanted to go. That's just my opinion. As far as the weapons are concerned, man, the weapon upgrade system sucks in this game. They did carry over an aspect from Far Cry New Dawn, which I really disliked, which is constantly picking up crates of metal and gasoline jugs and just a collectathon, collecting these things in the world that you can use to create and build new weapons. So for like 85% of the game, I was running around using the same weapons, if you could believe it. It wasn't until I got to the end of the game when I started to switch things up and created some newer weapons. The game is long. It's too long. I was trying to rush my way through it, and it took me, 2 months to beat. It is long, folks. Really long. There's a lot of side quests in the game. The older Far Cry games, as you guys, most of you know, you'd have radio towers. In this game, you didn't really have radio towers. You'd have kind of like border checkpoints. And if you drove through them with your car, you would instantly get a tire blowout. And you'd have to get out of your car and get into a firefight. And then there was bunkers you could go into. And if you killed everybody in the area, you took over the bunker, and usually there was like a secret weapon within the bunker. Rinse and repeat. So, yeah, really repetitive. And the other thing I wanted to rant about was the way that you can call your vehicle. So, Far Cry 6 took a little bit of a page out of Cyberpunk 2077. In your navigation, you can select to call your car, kind of like if you were calling your taxi or calling your car in Cyberpunk. However, the issue with this is when your car shows up, there's always a guy that's in it. And you gotta wait for him, the animation, you have to wait for him to show up and get out of the vehicle. And you're standing, you're like, get out of the vehicle. Get the fuck out of the vehicle. I just want to get off my way. So that was annoying. I spent a lot of the game running on foot right across the map, because there's a lot of areas where you can't call your car. You can only call your car if you're on the road. So I thought that was pretty annoying as well. Lots of technical hiccups. Again, I took video clips of everything, but again, I don't have it to show, unfortunately. Lots of texture popping, textures warping, breaking, lighting issues, random slowdowns off of explosions. Sound that was cutting out, all those typical stuff that you would see in a Far Cry game. So that's really nothing new per se. But yeah, all that to be said, is it a bad game? No. Is it a really awesome game? No. It's kind of like somewhere in between. It's I don't know. There's a lot of meat on the bone. There's a lot of stuff to do. When I bought this game, I bought it at a pawn shop for $20, which at the time was a really good deal because the game was still going for full retail. Now the game is steeply discounted. You could pick it up for $20 digitally, and I'm sure you could go to the pawn shop and pick it up for $20 as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of what other stuff I want to talk about with regards to this game. The other thing that kind of annoys me is when you go into there's certain areas in the open world, like hub areas, where you could go and you're not in any sort of danger. These are areas where you can talk to NPCs, start new missions, again, modify your weapons. They're kind of like little areas where everybody hangs out. Okay? When you show up at these areas, Ubisoft, for whatever reason, they take your character out of the first person view and they put it into third person. And the way that your character runs around, it's like reminiscent of, like an old Remedy game, like a Max Payne, the way your character runs around. And when you move backwards, his legs go back like this. And you can't jump when you're in third person. So I don't know why the fuck they did that. My guess is that Ubisoft, they don't tell us this, but they're probably leaning towards eventually coming out with a Far Cry game that's similar to Grand Theft Auto, where it's a third person perspective. I bet you. I'm willing to bet. But yeah, no, I was really fucking annoyed with the character involvement or lack thereof. Paper thin story. Not interested in it in the slightest. The kid that voices the main antagonist kid, the kid you see here, the kid looks like he's 12 years old, but when you hear the voice actor who's portraying him, it sounds like he's 20. Like, it's off. It's completely off. There were a lot of odes to Canada in this game because the main dev team was Ubisoft Canada. So again, I had footage of this, but I lost it all. But like as an example, there's one mission where you're out in the ocean and you take over this huge ship and you shoot everybody on the ship and whatever, mission over. And then if you look closely at the very top of the ship where the post is that host hangs the flag, there's actually a Canadian flag on the flag post. So that was pretty cool to see that. But yeah, man, it's just crazy going from Far Cry 5 to Far Cry 6. What a huge freaking letdown. Even in the cutscenes, they take your character out of first person view and they put it into third person. So they're constantly trying to push this new angle where I don't know why they're doing it, but like the old Far Cry games, you felt like you were it. You were the guy. You had the gun. And in Far Cry 5, they took it to the next level because your character didn't even have a voice, and I kind of liked that. And they did a complete 180 with this. Okay, no longer do you feel like you're the guy. It feels like you're basically watching somebody else play this game. So it was really disappointing to see that. I just can't get over how much better Far Cry 5 is than Far Cry 6. It blows my mind. So if I had to rank them, at least from the games that I've beaten so far, I would still put Far Cry 3 at the top. Far Cry 5 a close second. Far Cry 4 I would put behind 5, and then I would put 6 at dead last. That's how much I didn't like this game. At the very end of it, after the credits roll, there's a little bit of a teaser where you hear Voss. He talks a few lines, which is kind of cool. But that's it. It took me way too long to beat. I took my time beating it. I didn't rush through it like a Dreamcast guy. There's no way, if you're properly taking your time and playing this game, there is no way you could beat this game in a weekend. No fucking way. No way. As far as length is concerned, I don't know for sure, but this felt like it took me way longer to beat than Far Cry 5, 4, or even 3 for that matter. So, yeah. So that's it. I don't know. Would I recommend it? I can't say that I would. Or at least if I do recommend it, I would say if you haven't played Far Cry 3 or 5 or 4, check those out first. And check this one out if you really enjoy those. Do I regret playing it all the way through? No. I'm glad that I can have an opinion on it. Shocking ending, but anticlimactic. So, spoiler alert, you guys can see here. There's no fucking boss battle at the end. You just go through the mansion and you kill everybody off and you get a cutscene and it's game over. Apparently there's an alternate ending. I haven't seen it. I might look it up tonight. Again, the ending in Far Cry 5 was awesome, and in 4 I really loved the ending in 4. How you ran into that room and you were dealt a hand of cards as to what you wanted to do, and I just ended up blowing away whatever the guy's name was, Pagan Ming, and boom, went to the cutscene, to the ending credits. Whereas in this game, no, you get this stupid little well, it was a cool ending, But like I said, I wish there could have been more to it, unfortunately. So, yeah, that kind of fucking pissed me off as well. There was a lot of stuff about this game that pissed me off, but I don't have crib sheets in front of me, so... Yeah, I don't know. If you're asking, I think Ubisoft should go back to the drawing board and take their time if they're going to come out with another Far Cry game. Don't rush into it, because we're seeing the same mistakes over and over again with this game as we saw it in previous Far Cry games as well. And it's typical Far Cry, you know. The game's full retail, full price for about 6 or 7 months, and then it goes on sale. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for Far Cry 6. I guess I really don't have much else I want to say. Oh, other than the difficulty spikes. So if you play it on, like, medium or whatever you want to call it, average, medium, it's, like, way too difficult. Way too difficult. And then if you play it on easy, it's extremely easy. Like, you can sit there in front of a chopper that's in the sky, and the chopper's lighting you up with bullets, and nothing's happening. You literally can't die when you're playing this game on easy. So I played it on medium difficulty for the first several hours, and I was getting my ass handed to me. And finally I'm like, fuck this shit. And I ended up playing it on easy the rest of the way through. So that's it. I'll cut it off there. We're already at the 17-minute mark. I don't expect many people to watch this. I just wanted to give my thoughts out on Far Cry 6. That's it. Done. Finito. Not going back to Far Cry 6. That's it. Anyways, guys, I don't know what I'm going to move on to next. That's my next thing I got to look at. I got to look at my games tonight and figure out what I want to play. So, anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
You're a fucking monster.
Ah, I think that was truth.
Danny, watch my little firefly dance.
You know when I captured Clara?